Welcome back, everybody, and welcome to game number 2 of Open Qualifier number 2 for CCS Season 5. If you were not with us for game 1, it was Team Versity taking I just said CCS. SCS! I don't know why, dude. Sometimes I get them confused. Sometimes I even say SCC by accident. But if you were not with us for the very first game, Team Versity took a pretty close 7-5 over Dallas Vendetta. Dallas Vendetta came out really strong, and then Team Versity just rolled over him for the rest of the match, which was definitely pretty confusing. Now we have another game. Team Savants versus Aggro. T3 Savants being a pretty new team against a team that plays, they pretty much advertise how they play in their team name.
Yeah, and I think the best of one style really does, benefit those teams. It really does add a lot of the. I was talking about it in map number 1. If you were in the stream for that, let's say how momentum based a best of one can be, and that aggression that we can expect to see from Aggro will likely set the pace and the feeling of this map. It looks like we're going to Clubhouse, as you can see below us, and I guess the aggressive play may be stamped out just a little bit by this particular map pick. It tends to be a more strat heavy map than, Cafe or Oregon or Coastline. Generally lean a little bit more in the frag side of things. Of course, getting to Coastline, you really go off the edge of frag heaviness, but Clubhouse will be a great map to really see how these two teams are going to go up head to head, and especially compare any sort of strats, if these teams have some good strats to bring to the table at least.
There's also the map that Aggro beat Wichita Wolves on, I believe, in the previous qualifier, so Aggro are no strangers to this map. And T3 Savants, I'm really excited to see how they work, because I've been casting the likes of Junior and GXD and Imposta for a pretty long time. And Aggro are fairly new to me. I know Aggro are a team of ranked players who are almost, I think, completely, if not completely, comprised of switchovers from console. So they also bring a bit of a different play style to the table. I mean, like I said, they advertise how they play. They're very, very aggressive. They are a very gunfight heavy team. We just see how T3 Savants play against that. Normally, new teams tend to play a little bit more of that ranked style, just while they still, kind of get used to each other and stuff like that. So it should be a pretty interesting game. I think T3 Savants T3 Savants start on defense, so they'll get the advantageous side. Clubhouse is still a map that kind of favors the defense, but I know we saw Aggro definitely playing their attacks well, just because of their ability to swing and get into the building.
Yeah, and I think, while we're still waiting on our teams to get in the lobby here, we can talk a little bit about the notable matchups from round number 1, and honestly the matchups from round number 2, now that we have all of our results said and done here. We've got PDHM. They're coming off a victory against Disrupt Gaming women's team. They're now facing Air Force Gaming. Slaughterhouse Bravo will be taking on Akara. We've got Team Vale will be playing against Something to Prove. That'll be a good one to keep your eye out for. Not sure what our 2 other community streams are taking up, but to check out those matches, just head over to twitch.tv/SFCL or 9ball esports. You can keep that over on the side. Just take a look at whatever other matchups we've got going on and support those streams as well. We're starting to get our players in the lobby here, so we should be getting started, early on. Crow, you mentioned that you knew a couple of these players pretty well. You mentioned Asian, I believe you mentioned, as well as some others. Is there anyone you expect to really shine through here on either of these teams, honestly?
First of all, on T3 Savant, I always, the trio, Junior and GXD and Imposta, probably 3 of the most experienced players in the entire lobby. Meanwhile, on Aggro, one of the players who really turned up in the last qualifier match that was streamed, I believe, was Ashen. Ashen, I think, was on the Zof, if I'm not mistaken, and was just absolutely tearing things up. Asian was also doing pretty damn well. We do have all 10 players in the lobby, and I believe we have ours from both as well. If you don't know the Aggro roster, it's Ashen, Asian, Eddie, Silent, and Kicks. Meanwhile, T3 Savants have Blanky, Donkey, Imposta, GXD, and Junior. So T3 Savants do have more experience under their belt. Like I said, Aggro I mean, just by the way they play, might be able to blow that out of the water and take them off guard.
Yeah, I think, I guess we'll see how it starts off early on, especially with Aggro on the attack, like you said. But of course, the ban phase will indicate exactly what kind of clubhouse is going to unfold, and it seems that it's going to be your stock standard club. You've got your Thatcher ban. We're not doing any sort of Hibana and Maverick ban. It's only going to be one of the two. Now, which one? It tends to be a Maverick when you get the Thatcher, and Maverick and Hibana usually kind of run together as a ban, but I guess that is up to T3 Savants here. They are going to go, or Aggro rather, they are going to go with Hibana. They will be taking those X-Kairos pellets off the board, making getting those hatches open so much more painful, but of course, you've got Maverick. You've got that Surrey torch in play. So the wall, the CCTV wall, not really a worry. Jacuzzi wall, not a problem. Hatches, not a problem either.
Yeah, the fact that Maverick is still up is pretty big, but the hatches, you know, although you can open them with the Maverick, might be just a little bit harder to deal with just from a time perspective. Maverick does take a decent while to get those open. I imagine we'll see Ace most rounds as well because there's no Hibana. Thermite has been nearly phased out of the clubhouse meta. What maps do you see Thermite as primary hard breach now? Sometimes Consulate, depending on the team. Definitely not clubhouse. Not unless Ace is banned, typically. But because he's still left up, he's just better for opening the CC wall. He's better for opening the Jacuzzi wall. Gives you a lot more leeway on plat. It's going to be cash CCTV first for the defense of the T3 Savants. So, pretty standard. Smoke, Wamai, Malusi, Maestro, Jaeger playing a little bit into that older utility meta style. Although they do have a Cade from Blanky. Never mind, not the Maestro. Cade, definitely good. Despite there still being a Maverick on the board, because even though the wall falls away, the electricity is still there. So you can't throw in drones, you can't throw in any projectiles or anything, because they'll just get zapped. And I'm very, very thankful that Asian swapped off of that Blackbeard.
Yeah, thank God for that. We're not going to have any face shield nonsense. Yes, I wholeheartedly agree. Blackbeard can just go away. But you mentioned the Cade play, or the Kaid play. I think it's really important to still bring out some sort of hard breach denial, because you don't want to, I mean, even though you know that Maverick is on the board and the wall is going to be opened up eventually, a Maverick tricking isn't just an instantaneous, oh no. Okay, thank God. A Maverick tricking is not, you know, just an instantaneous free kind of situation. It takes you quite a bit of time to actually get done, and if you don't place that Electro Claw on the wall, you are going to allow Silent to just toss down those Selma charges and get open the wall for free, which is not something you want to do, especially against a team called Aggro. Junior, he's going to be ridiculous, and he's going to go for the prone peek out towards Kennels. Well, Eddie will swiftly punish him for it.
That is I know you weren't around at this time. That is what they call a junior moment. Is doing stuff like that. That was all right. Well, he's dead. What was that? 10 seconds
located by attackers
or so. You lost Malusi. If she had C4, then a C4 off the board. Either way, first pick going the way of Aggro, thanks to Eddie. Actually don't know if that's the same Eddie from the old Snickles team. Maybe chat knows. I don't know if that's the same Eddie that played on Snickles with like Dacian and them. But either way, Aggro now have control of the other side as well. They have Gym Master. They're starting to move their way into construction, opening up the trash wall. And they've still got to deal with Impasta inside of Rafters, and that's where Eddie is going to start to rotate, it looks like. GXD and Blanky, of course, still inside the site. They've got a C4. They've got the cast canisters, and Donkey inside of Lounge to make sure no one can get that upwards presence. But Eddie is going to get a second kill also inside of Garage. He'll take the head off of Impasta. Silent finds one as well, and there's the first refrag from the defense. Donkey finds one, but he's swiftly refragged by Eddie. A triple kill for the Sledge. He's doing extraordinarily well in this first round. ground. And just like that, it is just Blanky, and he'll be killed by none other than Eddie. A 4K for the Sledge, and Aggro take round number 1 by storm.
Seems that the T3 Savants just could not stop Eddie from just fragging out, pushing from the warehouse side, getting a free kill onto Junior, and then just finding the kills to follow. A very clean round number 1 for Aggro there. Well done, Eddie, and honestly, well done, everyone. It was, what is a 4v1 in those last few moments? It was only Asian who found the grave. Everyone was still up and eager to frag, but Eddie shutting that down, doing pretty much all the work, aside from Silent, of course, who found his impact with only 1 kill, and Donkey, the only player on the side of the T3 Savants to find that kill as well. So CCTV and Cash doesn't seem to be the homeland for the T3 Savants right now. They are going to be changing things up and head downstairs to Church and Arsenal in an effort to change things around and honestly change out the outcome as well. Of course, you're still bringing the Wamai. You've got a Mozzie in play, and the Malusi is still an ever-present factor. There's nothing, you know, pretty major that's missing except for, again, the Maestro, a pick that could be really valuable here. Of course, you have Impasta on the Mozzie instead, so that would be the operator you generally trade off for the Maestro, but of course you do want, of course, a big fragger to have a big fragging weapon, as well as the potential to delay as much time as possible on any sort of top-down clear that Aggro hope to get started.
Attackers dropped the diffuser.
I'm curious as to why they brought the Mozzie and nothing else for that drone denial. I guess they just don't want to dedicate themselves to more than one person on the roam, just in case they do get quickly collapsed upon. Already, Impasta is going to get droned out, and I think he either captured one or he just shot the drone that he did capture, because he did that little voice line where he's like, "Oh, I captured." Either way, he'll start to fall off just a little bit. Eddie, being the Sledge, will start to open up above kitchen and make sure that no defenders can get a sneaky impact trick in. Someone will take the angle, though. It looks like it's actually Blanky playing right under it, dealing a little bit of damage to Eddie, and he'll continue to try and play back Arsenal and put pressure on the Sledge. He'll have the impact ready, but you can't impact trick like that, so that's one ace charge able to open up, and the other one, though, denied. So now they've only got one. Actually, no, wait. They don't have any left.
They got the Maverick, though.
They do have the Maverick, but I mean, are you really gonna Mav trick Kitchen Hatch?
Yeah, that's dangerous. That is not probably the best strategy for kicks. Usually you see the Maverick, you know, prioritize, oh, well, he's going to do it, actually. He is going to go straight for the hatch, despite there being that opening. Nobody immediately there to punish him for it. Junior might be tempting that. He's going to rotate up, but oh, he's going to get cut down from above there. A great shot there. The Zofia making that one happen, and that's going to leave Junior on the ground and leave T3 Savants again on the back foot in a 4v5. Of course, they still have relative control of the site, but as the kitchen control is mounting and the vertical control continues to expand, it's going to get ever more dangerous for Blanky to be holding this one down. Of course, he's got the long angle. He's got GXD in dirt to support that position, but the dirt position is one that is very dangerous to be holding, especially in these closing moments. But here comes that flank. Asian shutting that down right away. GXD the response, but he's actually going to go 1-for-1, a direct trade with kicks.
That was just a 2 versus 4, although a lot of the players on the attack are low HP, but it's another even trade between two members. Impasta, the last alive. C4 goes out, but as he throws it, he just exposes himself a little bit too much to Ashen, and Ashen will capitalize. Round 2 again goes the way of Aggro. It's these early picks. Aggro getting the early pick again, being able to find the flanking Jaeger, and just play trades. Yeah. And again, they come away with the round.
Well done. Again, just a clean attack. There wasn't a lot of complexity to the attack. It was very straightforward, nearly default take. You bring your Ace, of course, not the ideal operator for the hatch, but you don't need to bring the Thermite. Ace, you know, gets that job done. You have the Maverick as well, and, you know, having the courage to then use the Suri Torch on the kitchen hatch, despite the possible pressure from below. I mean, well coordinated as well. Just those little things just seem to be going well for Aggro right now, and eventually those little things do add up in the end. Junior, who wanted to shut down the Maverick tricking or the Maverick opening the hatch, was swiftly cut down by Ashen, who was on the coverage. He knew exactly where to watch. The coverage was there. The kills were found, and Aggro just, I guess, do what they did in both round 1 and number 2. They roll, like you said, using that advantage, playing those trades, taking site control, and just doing it rather cleanly. But T3 Savants, in an absence of really finding a site that they like to go to so far, it's going to be CCTV and Cache, their next option, and they'll be looking to make some sort of changes. Crow, this may be a hot take, but I think one huge change would be maybe if Junior doesn't die in the first 10 seconds, things might go a little bit better for T3 Savants.
You know, you got me hard pressed, but I think I'm tempted to agree with you on that.
All right, good.
Junior is going to be playing bottom garage, though. A pretty exposed position when you've got people stacking up, and if the attackers are able to take control of lounge. Now, Junior wants to stop that from happening. We see the bullet holes into the stock door, and Blanky this time playing inside of the rafters rather than Imposta, who was previously on Wamai, now on Mozzie, able to deny more of that intel from Aggro, though it didn't really seem to be too much of an issue just previously. Trash wall will yet again be opened, curiously enough, by the ace. Was it? It didn't look reinforced. Did they just ace a soft wall? They aced this, or was it sledged?
No, that was definitely
No,
aced.
that was aced. Why did Silent just ace the soft trash wall when Ash is literally right there?
Not to mention you've got Eddie, who can, I don't know, take, what, 25 seconds to rotate around and do that, if that. Definitely a curious use of utility, but Aggro seem to be comfortable right now. They're not running around too flustered. They are still working their way down this checklist and trying to get the site pressure mounting. Ashen's been sitting outside of the CC window for the entirety of the round so far, and, well, nothing has changed just yet. The only thing now that Aggro have to worry about is Imposta on the flank. He's going to collect one pick, and that's going to be huge. Onto the ace, only able to get one Selma charge down onto the cache wall. And Imposta, he is still an ever-present problem lurking on the construction side. There's no coverage from Ashen. Nobody opening up that construction window to hold from there. Instead, he will be cutting down Donkey, who is willing to go for the swing on CCTV window instead. Asian, he's gonna get one, taking down Imposta, and that's gonna put Aggro again back on the front foot, but GXD, he's there with a swift response.
So that was, wow, okay. Ashen also goes down. Did he just try to hop in?
Yep.
He did. Eddie has successfully hopped in, though, as he's now inside the site, but not before his teammate is killed. He can't find the second either onto the Malusi in red. T3 Savants take round number 3, much off of the back of Imposta and GXD. Imposta getting a very well-timed flank, taking down the ace before he was finally traded off, and the smoke going huge, taking out not only one inside of construction, but also the initial server window hop-in. Eddie tries to come back through, but the Cade finds the push onto the breach. Those two last attackers, tried to go for a pinch. Unfortunately, the player by Platwall did not win his fight. Thus, it was just Eddie. Sure, he gets one, but now the defenders have perfect intel on where he's situated, and he just, unfortunately, lost the fight. So much better defense so far from T3 Savants, but now they go back to Church Arsenal, where, again, Aggro was able to get some early picks and just spiral that into the round win.
Well, the change we just saw the T3 Savants make there, I think it can directly be applied to this bomb site as well. Even more so, we saw Imposta, that critical and crucial flank, cutting down Silent, who is playing the main hard breacher of this Aggro attacking roster. That was a huge pick. The Mozzie did his job perfectly, not to mention GXD and the gunplay on site was huge, but I guess now, utilize the play from the Mozzie as well. Imposta can roam even better on this site, or at least should be able to roam even better on this site. Force Aggro to really take the time to clear you out and really just be a persistent thorn in the side of this push, and you can find very similar success just like you did in round number 3. That strategy worked out. Why not try it again? Putting down, those Mozzie pests, that's going to definitely help that, but going for this aggressive peek, may not be the best course of action. He's going to stand in front of the door, and he will, well, narrowly escape a grisly fate, as I don't know if anybody spawned on that shipping side. We didn't quite get to take a look there, but at least nobody was there to capitalize on that. No, Asian did spawn there, but he just wasn't quick enough. So it turns out that Imposta did make a very smart decision to get the heck out of Dodge and really just play his life for later in this round.
That is a pretty old one. So I'm sure Aggro we're ready for it. That even happens on console. So, no early death for T3 Savants, at least not yet. I don't know if the Mozzie has gone back down to sight. I can't quite see the silhouette. He'll capture a drone, but it's quickly shut down by Asian. Yeah, he is back down inside of church. All right, he's over by the mini. So, a bunker hold from the T3 Savants. Although, I only count 4 bodies. 1, 2, 3, 4. Am I blind? 1, 2. There's Donkey, Blanky, Imposta Jr. Oh,
and the dirt
okay.
player.
I didn't see. All right, I didn't see the guy in dirt. I thought GXD was going to be closer. All right, so they are turtling up all 5 players on site.
Well, this strategy does work out pretty well. You know, generally you do want to have somebody to shoot some drones and waste some time, and Imposta, he did do that early in the round. He took down a handful of drones while he was at it, and that's definitely going to help delay this push from Aggro. But with the church wall now being opened wide, the C4, that was critical. Imposta lining it up, cutting down Silent, and the main stairs pressure and the diffuser have now been completely forfeit. Eddie is going to have to take the time to rotate around, and now that the line of sight has actually been established from church to the bottom of the main stairs, it's not going to be super easy to pick up this case, in fact. Now, the pressure from the other side, the pressure from Blue and Moto is going to be critical in preventing that diffuser from being denied, but Imposta, he's allowed to get the kill that we just predicted. The diffuser is being watched because Silent opened up that very angle. Asian is sitting there in Moto. He's not doing anything just yet. Ashen will, though, but Imposta, he's going to come outside the breach. He's going to get a triple kill, cutting down Asian. Ashen's been dropped down. Kicks is all that remains.
Massive play there by Imposta, and Kicks pre-firing reveals his location. Blanky finishes off 1, and Junior finds the 2nd. And T3 Savants take round 4. Imposta going absolutely huge, getting that C4 onto the ace, staring at the main stairs, knowing that someone would have to come down and recover the diffuser, and it just happened to be the unlucky soul of Eddie. And then, when the Ash situated inside of Moto, as he looks away, Imposta creeps through the breach and flanks him. That was unfortunate timing, and from there, 2 versus 5. Not a great situation for the last 2 attackers to be in. So we've had a little bit of a resurgence from the defense of T3 Savants. 2 in a row from Aggro, answered back by 2 in a row from them. Now we're going on Gym Bedroom. They will finally be forced onto this offsite, and in my mind, this is the make or break. If they can take this, they can still secure the half, but if they lose it, then Aggro might even go up 4-2. We'll have to see what T3 Savants bring out, as they will now be playing not only the Goyo, an operator we haven't seen as much nowadays, but Frost as well.
Well, it is Frost o'clock, apparently, now that we are heading over to the tertiary bomb site on Clubhouse. This is generally the only site you will see a Frost play, if you will see a Frost play at all. Of course, this is, again, the resurgence of Frost is something, or rather, not the resurgence, just the first time we're really seeing Frost played in a viable competitive setting, largely in part due to the fact that now she has a secondary shotgun, which makes this pick not a complete waste of time. Not to mention, a deployable shield really adds to that dynamic. The bear traps, it's really just an extra little fun twist to bring to the table. Something that usually only works once or twice. You can hope to catch some players off guard, but if you're not in silver in ranked, you're no longer going to be looking down at every vault in when you go in a window. And at the highest levels, there is a surprising amount of impact that just one bear trap can make when somebody's trying to vault in and make a play on the Drim window or the Master window, and there's a Frost mat below them. They don't have time to look down because they need to be gun up and taking a fight. That's kind of how the bear traps do work out here or there. We're actually going to see a super late reinforcement of this bathroom wall just in the nick of time now that the Maverick trick has been completed and the jacuzzi wall has been opened wide.
Yeah, you mentioned something actually pretty interesting. If you look at the stats that UB posted a while ago about Frost's effectiveness, depending on the rank, it's like a parabola. It's really effective at copper, and then it slowly starts to go down where it's not that effective in gold. But the higher in rank you go, the more effective she gets again. Yeah, I always thought that was a little bit funny, how it's just the average player base that falls for her the least. But we'll see if GXD gets any of those foot traps. He's got them pretty much all situated over by the cash construction side. There's one right where Junior's standing, one under the window, and I'm not quite sure where the third is. Here comes the push from Eddie and Asian, though. Nade coming up top, covering where that ace charge was. It deals a little bit of chip damage to Impasta, but not enough to shove him off of the position. You got the Ash over by Red as well, covering themselves just to make sure there's no flank. And Ashen got the first frag. Now goes Donkey on main? Is he on main stairs?
I'm not
I think
sure.
he was on. I saw him on main stairs earlier, and I'm gonna assume the Zoph was repelled outside the window.
Ah, yes.
Yeah, there he is. All right. So first kill is Donkey. It is the Jaeger, so it's not the biggest deal in the world. And all right, Asian is going to get TK'd, so Silent at least makes up for it, taking out the support of Junior, but not before Impasta's there with another. Silent gets technically his third pick of the round as GXD free frags onto kicks, but now your jacuzzi pressure is pretty much gone. You've only got a player inside of construction. I'm not actually quite sure where Ashen was. He's actually inside the building. He's now pushed through the breach, looking for the pick on the GXD as Silent comes in as well, and that's his third kill. It's just Blanky. A 1 versus 2 clutch situation. The attackers aren't even near those frost mats, so we can't bank on that free kill. Shotgun out. He gets Zoph stunned. They know exactly where he is. He'll tuck himself inside a bathroom as the plant starts going down. He has a C4, but will he have the chance to use it? Down goes one player. Silent has to come off. 5 seconds left. He'll pop the Goyo shield to cover as well. Silent pushes through, though, and through the fire and the flames. He pre-fires into the bathroom corner and gets his 4th pick. Aggro falls to the wall. I can't believe he did that.
Silent, what is that? That was a 4K on the round, and a clutch in one of the most bizarre closing moments. It seemed that, I guess, that the defender thought there's no chance that Silent is going to just sprint straight on through the fire. He did it anyway, and as you said, quite literally through the fire and the flames, Silent will pull out the round in a miraculous way. Aggro recovering from 2 rounds in the hands of T3 Savants, finding a round that they really should not have probably won, but they won it anyway. A solid tertiary bomb site attack for the most part. Another round that went back and forth. Swift control of cash, I think, was taken. We saw Silent get the team kill, which did eventually go punished by Impasta, but Silent eventually found 2 kills to back that up, and found 2 more kills to back that up, cutting down both the frost in logistics, and then of course the smoke in the bomb site itself. So great play there from Silent to pull that one out, and Aggro have now taken the lead on their clubhouse attack. Now, this is one of those maps that, of course, have been seeing a resurgence of attacker success given the changes in the meta, but finding a 4-2 attacking lead is very unorthodox. And if Aggro can just take one more round, they would be poised in a great position going forward into their second half.
Still in shock that worked. That has been attempted by many players in T3. I'm at even DP Fire. Silent is one of the first players that I've seen successfully swing through Goyo Fire to get his pick. And with 6 seconds left in the round, no less, against a shotgun holding nearly a 90-degree angle. Good stuff from Silent, keeping his team in the lead. I said that might be the make or break moment for T3 Savants on their defensive half. They got really close, but couldn't make it happen. However, one of the big players for Aggro, Ashen, goes down very early to the likes of GXD, who did he just peek the server window and win the fight?
Seems like it.
Wow. All right. And with the SMG-11, no less, being able to frag out the Zoth. That's not something you see every day. Now you got Donkey and Impasta duoing downstairs in Lounge. They'll be able to play for this C4. And speaking of, it'll do a hell of a lot of damage to Kicks. Unfortunately, not enough to kill.
Yeah, now that is going to allow the Maverick trick to be completed. Eddie to sledge on open the wall, and Blanky can't quite get the angle to shut that down. That means the platform wall has now been opened wide, and now a response needs to be had from T3 Savants. Of course, they are up a man though, so waiting on the site, simply just waiting for Aggro to walk into their open arms could very well be a good strategy. You're gonna have Asian coming from below into stock, possibly pressuring Cash from below, or simply trying to deal with any sort of red stairs pressure being applied. The Cash pressure is mounting though from the side of Aggro. They've got that Cash wall open. The Selma charge doing their good work there. Silent gonna line up one, and Asian with the follow-up onto the over-aggressive Donkey. So the aggression from T3 Savants is now being punished. Junior's on the floor, so is Blanky. Impasta is all that remains. He is below and could deny the default plant if he targets some shots perfectly, but he's gonna be a little bit off the mark. Silent getting the plant down, now completing it. It's a 4v1 post plant, not the best situation for the Mozzie. Impasta now pushing on up. He'll get one onto Eddie, who's gonna miss all of his shots, but now at simply pretty much 1 HP, it's gonna be impossible for Impasta to pull it off. Silent again, just fragging out on the support role and giving Aggro the very coveted Clubhouse 4-2 lead.
What did I say? Called it. If they lose that gym defense, then they go down 4-2. Aggro have stepped it up after losing those 2 rounds. The last round, of course, being the previous round being very close, but this one definitely being a lot more decisive. I mean, only losing, what, 1 member? Ashen died, and then they were perfect all the way up into a 1v4. And at that point, I mean, Eddie dies, but it really doesn't matter. Damage was done. He put the Mozzie down to 1 HP. Mozzie not only has to contest Maverick prone holes on the wall, but also the repelled player, and there is just pretty much nothing. On Clubhouse, and that can't. But it's not all that common. So, T3 Savants are definitely on the back foot going into the second half.
Generally, this map only finds itself attacker-sided when you have either both Thatcher and Hibana, usually both Thatcher and Hibana, but in the rare cases, if one of those operators are on the board, things do become a bit easier. And it is a surprise to see that despite both being banned, only the Maverick really that staple operator who does get banned all the time, not banned in this case. It is surprising to see how well Aggro have been able to make this work. Of course, you know, everything we've learned so far can kind of be thrown out the window now that Aggro are moving on to the defensive half. But what they have shown is that in these last-minute executes, in these 1v1 engagements, Aggro is winning at the end of the day. And when it comes down to this bomb site, this is probably the most common bomb site to end up in a very forced 20-second execute from the attack, something that I think could very well feed into the strategy of Aggro here.
Yeah, they seem like a very good crunch time team. Being able to just walk in and win their ones is a great skill to have when you're running down the clock. So already, the Maverick's trying to open up Moto. He's being contested by Silent, though, so he's definitely have to watch his head and make sure it doesn't get cut off by a really tight angle that the Alda happens to be holding. Junior going to be wasting that little Malusi Banshee at bottom main, as Silent actually does challenge and wins the fight. And the hatch isn't even open yet. That is absolutely massive for this defense. No more Maverick, but Silent does go down very low. He does live to see another day and can just play passive with his Maestro cams. That is huge. No more Blanky, no more Maverick, no more nades, and the hatch is Electroclawed, so GXD can't even open the rest of it. Not unless they dedicate one of Sledge's nades to opening it, in which case, I mean, there could be an ADS covering it. I'm not quite sure. I would assume
Attackers have located a
I would assume
bomb.
not, because I feel like that would be kind of a waste. I heard a sledge hole, and they droned Moto, so they know there's nothing covering it. It would be pretty easy to just slide a nade down there, but looks like they're just gonna give up on the hatch. They haven't even opened up kitchen. T3 Savants have spent a lot of time really not doing much as Impasta pushes down blue. He gets one, but he's swiftly finished off by Eddie, so, I mean, you go 1 for 1, but it's on the complete other side of the building from the rest of your team, so it's not that big of a pick. Kool-Aid wall will be opened by the Ash, and she'll, oh yeah, her way right in, and down goes Kick. So, Junior now punching his way into Arsenal under the kitchen hatch, and the blue pressure is there from Dunkey to make up for what his team lost earlier. Now, Eddie does finish off Junior with the C4. That's a tight angle being played by the Maestro, but he can't land the shots. GXT will start getting this plant down as Dunkey covers, but what? He wins the fight as the Maestro, and Eddie, all the way on the flank, goes through the hallway, and GXT is cut down. What was nearly a great recovery from the attack was stamped down by some missed shots by the sledge.
Well, an attacking round that got off to a brutal start even before the site pressure could really even begin to mount. You mentioned it, losing the Maverick was a huge problem for the attack. Dunkey just did not use those nades to remove those electro claws, and that's what happens when you don't have Hibana or Thatcher. You are forced to think outside the box, and just some people just aren't quite comfortable with using those frag grenades in that effect, especially, you know, when they have to determine, is there an ADS below? Am I wasting this utility? Somehow, though, they were able to get on the bomb site. You said the Kool-Aid wall was used, and they just worked their way on into the site, nearly took the round, but Aggro just denied it. Eddie and Silent, well, at least Silent, proving that he is not only silent, but deadly as well.
Yeah, winning that fight on, like, literally like 2 or 3 HP was impeccable. I really thought Dunkey was going to be able to shut him down. But yeah, I mean, even then, even if he kills Silent, you've still got that flank from the Cade that no one on the attack was looking out for, because Dunkey was distracted. You can't fault him for. So who knows how that round would have ended up, even if Dunkey had gotten that kill. It was just definitely really confusing that he didn't win that fight. Now, Aggro are going to be able to go up back to Cash and CCTV, the other primary site. Now, sure, the last defense was really close, but in all honesty, shouldn't have been that close. Aggro were still really dominant throughout almost the entirety of the round. So we'll see if T3 Savants are able to make it happen, fix their mistakes. Interesting that they're not bringing the Ace, instead they're bringing the Thermite with GXD. I don't think actually used his utility on anything. Hopefully we'll see him use it here, because Eddie already taking a lot of early damage.
What we're seeing right now is a wall that is just muted. Is it even muted? Is this wall even muted? It's not Electroclad, I can tell you that for certainty. No. There's no mute jammer, but anyway, the Maverick trick is going to be utilized rather than the exothermic charges, and honestly, you did it within a minute. It's not that big of a time waste, but you've got the Thermite approaching from the other side in the meantime. An interesting kind of situation when the Kaid or the Mute are not going to utilize a utility on that CC wall, yet the Maverick trick happening regardless. But right now, the T3 Savants, they will be making pretty constant progress from both sides. Now pressuring from the construction side as well. The next step, of course, is to utilize those exothermic charges to actually get that con wall open. Of course, this time it will be electrified, excuse me. Eddie has moved his claw from the garage side to that wall, and that is going to make it now force Dunkey to actually utilize those frag grenades, something that he wasn't able to do the round prior. The play from below from Azian is not going to pay off. Dunkey, he was aware of it, and he cut down the Jaeger pretty swiftly.
That's definitely a really good pick, but even better from Ashen. Where was that from? Able to C4 down 2 of the attackers, and the Maverick is down and finished off by Silent as well. What was initially, like you said, very steady progress has now fallen completely flat. Silent with another, but Junior with his own 2 and a third as he finds Silent. An insane play by the Ash. We'll try getting the plant down, but it's just a bait. He knows Kix might be over towards red, but no, he's getting it down really close. Kix could easily find this kill, but he reveals his location with the sprint. Damage taken as Junior starts to back off, and again, resume the plant inside of the A bomb site. Sorry, the B bomb site. Smoke canister out, completely misses. Now it's post-plant, but no! As he jumps through the window, Kicks is there just in time. Junior nearly saves the round, but a mistake. It was a 50-50 chance. A flip of the coin, and it did not go his way. That is a heartbreaker, but if you're aggro, you now put yourself on that point.
Oh yeah, Aggro feeling great right now. In some of these rounds, I am shocked that they're actually getting this close. We saw a double C4, and all of a sudden, somehow, T3 Savants are able to just miraculously pull it back into a 1v1. That is the second time now we've seen that happen, and somehow Aggro find a way to win in that situation. So, Aggro, a questionable closing to the defense, but and in the end, it was, of course, it'll be the round. And again, in that situation for the Ash there, you're getting the plant down, and you have, like you said, a 50-50 chance of where the smoke is going to be approaching. Is it red, or is it from the cache door? If you're going to jump out the window and go for the kind of gun down, run out the window play, you are fully signing yourself up for that 50-50 chance. Of course, hindsight is 20/20, and we can always say, in retrospect, what could have been a better decision. Maybe had he been gun up in that situation, he would have at least had a chance to fight back. Unfortunately, the smoke was a lot closer than I think Junior guessed, and the plant, while it was able to go down, the Ash could not position for the post plant. A good win there from Aggro. They take now match point on their horizon, and well, they only have one more round to find, and T3 Savants need to chain 4 rounds in a row. Of course, this is gym and bedroom. This is the first round where T3 Savants could really start to build their momentum back, but will that momentum be enough, Crow?
You know, this point, I don't know. 4 in a row, man, against a team that's playing, I mean, you got Silent and Eddie, who are both on heaters right now. I don't know, we're gonna have to see something special from T3 Savants. I mean, after that last round too, that had to have been demoralizing. Junior doing his best, getting into the site and getting 3 kills out of literally nowhere, and then just dying because he vaulted through a window because he chose the wrong post plant position. He had 2. And he just went for the wrong one. That's super unfortunate. But T3 Savants, at least they're attacking Jim. So I mean, if there's any site that they're gonna be able to start this momentum back up on, it's probably gonna be, this is probably their best chance.
Yeah, right now it's a very seems to be linear approach, at least from these south side windows. Of course, you did a moment ago have Donkey challenging on that CCTV side, and Blanky will as well. That's going to remove the Wamai. Eddie is gone out of this round, and Asian has been, well, down but not out at the very least. Ashen is going to respond, though. He's going to cut down the Maverick to bring things back, and Ashen, well, he's there to possibly find another one, but it's GXD who does so instead. Kix is there with a swift response. That's going to turn things into a pseudo 3v2. Here comes Impasta. He'll line one up, but Kix, he's there with a response. Now it's a 1v2. Kix has to make this one happen with Asian in an impossible position to actually get him back up, and there's the crossfire from Donkey and Junior. They're going to push on into the jacuzzi wall and up main stairs, and that's going to find them the kill and keep T3 Savants in this fight.
Like I said, best chance was there. Aggro looking like they got a little bit too over aggro, and T3 Savants were happy to receive them with open arms. I like the question you asked before. Is that enough? You still got to take 3 in a row, and Aggro, well, their bomb sites are going to slowly start to unlock again. They've already got Church at their disposal. I mean, you make one mistake, and your map is done for. I'm still a little bit confused as to why GXD is hard sticking Thermite instead of playing Ace. Maybe he's more comfortable on the Thermite, but
AK-12
normally,
though, man, come on.
Yeah, I mean the AK-12 and normally Ace as a whole is just better.
The 5.56, it is a formidable weapon. I mean, don't get me wrong.
Yeah, but you got AK-12,
But you got
you got more versatile breach.
Smokes? I mean, what the heck?
I don't know. Maybe I can ask Tyson about it later. But for now, I mean, Aggro are going for a very similar setup as they had last time, if not the same 5 operators. They've got Cade. Now, this was something that T3 Savants couldn't deal with. A big reason why they lost this round
10 seconds
was
to
that
insertion.
Blanky, opening the hatch, got
5
smacked
seconds left
by
before
Silent.
insertion.
They can avoid that, maybe establish a little bit more control. We could see a different round, because it did come close.
Yeah, Silent has been just that key player, not only finding 12 kills so far, but finding significantly impactful kills. The one you just mentioned onto Blanky a couple of rounds ago just threw T3 Savants completely off of their game. They had no idea how to approach the bomb site at that point, and again, it was a brilliant comeback executed by T3 Savants, but Aggro pulling out the round at the end of the day. Silent, I mean, of course, playing support, you would expect Silent to be a little bit less heavy in terms of frags, but if you have the Alda and you have the AK-12, you are definitely going to find a couple of picks there. Junior, however, is not going to find a free kill onto Ashton, who is just running all over the hallway, but because of that, the hatch is now allowed to be opened up wide. Ashton was not in the proper position to go for the impact trick, and with the kitchen hatch open, things are already looking a lot better for the T3 Savants than they did on their last church attack. You combine that with a little bit of pressure here from Dirt. Junior's gonna bait that out with the drone, but falling off because of the Toxic Babe and getting stunned by his own teammate. Kicks, he's waiting around the corner with the M590. A brutal and grisly fate awakens anyone who were to crouch walk into this, but with the stuns going on down, Junior is gonna attempt the swing and wins the first gunfight, but the second one, okay, Asian is gonna line up 2. Impasta and Junior gone.
They were going for that kitchen dirt push, a very dated push, and what a lot of people think to be one of the weakest downstairs pushes in the game. And that's why. You lose dirt, and now what? You haven't opened Moto. You don't have anyone main stairs, well, they'll change that as Donkey goes down, but point stands, you haven't opened the hatch. All you have is kitchen. You haven't even done anything over in blue. So this push has already, I mean, for the most part, fallen flat on its face. Somebody, one of these last 3 attackers, Donkey, GXD, and Blanky, one of them will have to go huge, make some sort of solo play impact on this round if they want any hope in clutching it out. Now, Donkey will try to do so, but Asian is ready and waiting. He'll cut him down from the hatch. It's good covers. GXD actually finds that kill. He's inside the site, looking over towards box 1 by Blue as Blanky takes some chip damage, and there's Silent capitalizing. 2 players over by the Kool-Aid wall, and Silent is happy to eat up with the 81. Aggro take a dominant victory, 7-3.
Aggro just simply the better team right now on Clubhouse. They won their attacking half brilliantly. They, even despite losing 2 rounds in the middle there, they brought it back, took 2 rounds of their own, and then, well, I think defense was just open and shut. The only round that the T3 Savants could acquire was that tertiary bomb site of gym and bedroom. So Aggro, they will remain undefeated so far, if I'm not mistaken, and well, they will be looking good going forward into round number 3. The same cannot be said for the T3 Savants. They're going to continue to have to deal with what apparently is their home space, the T3 world. They're going to have to really battle it out there for a bit longer.
Yeah, and speaking of as well, the Silent. Whew. 12? Or no, 14-4? I think he was at the end of that game.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely massive from him. Eddie doing pretty damn well. And just a lot of the stuff T3 Savants were pulling out just not working. We also got some other updates. First match that was finished was PDHM versus Air Force Gaming. That was a 7-0. Men's esports able to 7-1 Team Sinister Red. Gatekeepers winning their game. Versity winning their next game against Team Identity. Team Veil winning their game. Anyone else? Let's see. I don't really know too much about anyone else. So, a lot of the games being pretty dominant this half. Actually, there's a hell of a lot of 7-2s and 7-1s. Slaughterhouse Bravo finishing their game now against Akara. I think we've had 2 7-3s. Every other game that's finished so far has been either 7-1 or 7-2, with the exception of that 7-0.
Yeah, we still got
pretty dominant so far.
Yeah, still got a while to go in this round just because some matches I think are just starting. I know Strike X versus Lycus Empire just begun over on, yeah, they're only sitting at 1-1 right now after rehost. They're sitting at over on SFCL. If you're interested in taking a look at that matchup, Strike X and Lycus can be found over there, twitch.tv/SFCL. Same goes for Revenge Nation against Toys or Trust Only Your Squad. They are sitting at 5-2 right now, with Revenge in the lead on Villa, and they're over on 9Ball Esports. You can take a look at that channel. In the meantime, there isn't much we can say other than we hope you stick with us after this break. It's likely going to be a more extended break because we do have to wait for, again, all of these matches to finish up before we can get into round number 3, where we'll be pulling from a couple more undefeated teams and seeing really who can make their impact going forward. But Crow, anything else you want to say before we send it off to a break? No. All right. Well, it is simple as that. We will see you all in a little bit. Not sure exactly the time, but stick with us and we'll be back shortly.